Lots of people on board. All right. So yeah, 10:45, let's go ahead and do this. My name is Amber. I am the Director of Marketing for recapturit.com. I am so honored to be here to be a presenter at this event, and I'm really grateful that you guys decided to join me this time. I'm stoked to watch the other recordings with you guys afterwards. It means a lot that you guys decided to talk to me live, because online is important, and it's either something that isn't important to everybody yet, and it should be, or it's kind of a duh, like everybody knows about it. So to really be able to have the chance to dive in with you guys on why it made such an impact with the pandemic and why it is here to stay, it's pretty exciting for me to present on that. So I will go ahead and share my screen, and away we go. Potentially. All right, can everyone see this?
Looks good.
Like I said, I am Amber. I am the Director of Marketing. That basically means that I get to handle all of the branding and the communications and publications for endeavors that I take on. My history in the industry is actually specializing in small business and in e-commerce. It's kind of a fancy way of saying I'm old enough to have been able to walk into a room and say, hey, have you guys ordered online? And the hands didn't go up. So it's been exciting to see that change and for online e-commerce to become such a norm. I'm going to start off today's presentation with a little bit of a history lesson. I think we've all faced something where we have either heard about something or have been pitching something, and it was a thing that was scoffed at, something that they were told that's never going to work. Here's some of the usual suspects. I'd like to start off with Federal Express. So can you mute? There we go. Let's talk about Federal Express. They've been doing this for a while. They were one of the first people to get things shipped across the country. And they were one of the first people to offer expedited shipping, 2-day shipping, overnight shipping, all these things that people don't need. They're not in that big of a hurry, right? I think we all know better than that. Enter a small bookseller that decided to sell online. In order to incentivize people to come to their site and place online orders, they offered free shipping. But that wasn't good enough. They wanted to do this faster shipping, and they were going to make people pay for it. That in and of itself, 2-day wasn't fast enough. Now we have Prime Now. You can get things in metropolitan areas for an hour. I don't know about you guys. I do it. I pay for this. No. It's pretty exciting, and it's a great example in our industry that, you know, out there in the world, in the market of e-commerce, like people are willing to pay for a service that they want. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about other things that were scoffed at when they first came out. That's not going to work. Ooh, too soon? Too soon. Did want to talk about this though. This is the one other thing that they said wasn't going to work. Online shopping. Time magazine, pretty reputable magazine, published an article in 1966 in the Futurist where they talked about online shopping. They said remote shopping is viable, but it's going to be a flop because women like to get out of the house. They like to handle merchandise. They like to be able to change their minds. Not untrue. I do like changing my minds, and I like tactile things. I used it when I started doing my .com work and said, guys, you got to show the product that you are offering. You have to make it something that they trust to buy online. So that is a driving force, not wrong. But as far as online sales go, I buy so many things online that my family now refers to it as Amberzon. And in regards to leaving the house, I wasn't even willing to leave my house for this conference. I'm excited to say, though, that this is no longer the commonly accepted thought. Experts no longer believe that online shopping is not a thing. It's real, it's there. In architectural salvage, we understand the value of time. We get it. We also get that it's pretty complex if we're going to go at it alone. We're going to build our own website and we're going to start becoming an e-commerce retailer. There's a lot of facets. Who's got time for that? kind of a big deal. In our industry, we had two choices. We could either quarantine with the rest of the country, the rest of the world, or we could stay open because we were in the home improvement. We were allowed to. It was like grocery stores and home improvement stores were the only ones open. But with staying open, there came a lot of risks. If you closed, you wondered, what are you going to do to drive revenue? How are you going to pay your employees? What are the options that give you a chance to open without opening your brick and mortar? And if you do give them the option to do curbside pickup, how do they know what they're picking up? Meanwhile, I was talked to a salvage seller. One of the first places I went to after I broke quarantine was a salvage reseller. I love walking around. I'll never I'll never give up the physical stuff, even though I'm really excited to have this stuff online. And one of the things they said was that everybody wanted to be there. They had record sales, and they also had record numbers of people coming in to window shop. I'm bored. I want to break quarantine. I'm going to go look around this really cool old warehouse with all these things. So the owners that ran those businesses, the managers there too, they had to try to figure out how to keep everyone safe. So no matter what, as this pandemic really came on, business had to change. If you were one of the lucky ones that had a website, you could use it to feature your products to bridge that gap between your regular brick and mortar business and selling online. This is an example of quite a few businesses that have a pretty decent online presence. As I specified here, the range was from just a splash page that said, if you're curious, call us. Or there were some people that were able to use some of the online processing services that are out there to process orders. I don't know if you noticed this color theme. There's a lot of green out there in salvage sellers. We have a little bit of it in our logo too. I love it. I think it's great. But I'm going to focus and get some green in here too and mention an interesting statistic that I've done the research and tried to find all of the salvage sellers in the country. I've been doing this for a while, and there's over 300 of them. And even as this has taken on, there's only a handful that ship. That's one of the bigger ones that people are struggling with. How are you going to take this big item and get it across the country? Who do you ask questions of? Touch on that later. If you don't have a website, where do you go? Social media is a juggernaut. It is a way for us to break away from our own selves, from our presence. You obviously want to draw them to you, but if they're not coming to you, you go to them. This is just a few of the clubs, the groups that I am a part of on my personal Facebook page, and they are a hoot. I love going and I love seeing what people are salvaging, what they're rescuing from homes, what they are selling in different regions. The Hillbilly Repurposed Project Center is a little bit farther out from what we do here. They have, they do cars, they do a lot of different things. They actually had a bar stool that was in the shape of a pair of jeans, and I don't know how I'm going to spend $750 to get here, but I want that bar stool. It's hilarious. But either way, if you are not on social media joining some of these groups, I highly recommend that you do. If there is a group that you are a part of that we should know about, let us know. These are a great way to build community and let them know what you do and what you offer, and find buyers and sellers across the country. Anybody have anyone they want to mention? Okay. If you're not on social media, maybe you want to sell one or two items. There's a lot of great things that are classified sites. I personally use OfferUp for my own little endeavors, but OfferUp's really not for businesses. OfferUp is for consumers. It's a C2C thing. Really, really easy to put items up. I just snap a picture with my phone and it's gone. But it also doesn't really work if you want to do contactless, touchless. This is an in-person kind of cash sale thing. They are doing shipping, but I know I don't look at it that way. I look at what's local. I want to find other retailers that I'm willing to buy and have things shipped for. So my other concern with sites like this is they're very item specific. A lot of the online retailers that aren't individual businesses are about an item. So you can't really tell them what you do. You can't tell them what you have to offer, why you're trustworthy, and why they want to come back and do the repeat business. But they are there, and they're kind of nifty. So we did see a lot of business owners in the pandemic go to these sites. Beyond that, you want to go bigger, you want to go broader, eBay. Everybody knows eBay. eBay spun off, caused a spun off when crafters realized that it was too broad, that it wasn't specific enough. And even Etsy has actually prompted other spinoffs because, you know, architectural salvage isn't necessarily craft. You can upcycle things, but what if you just have a raw material you want to sell? I spent some time on eBay in the last couple of days, and I will tell you that they've gotten a lot better. They are recognizing that there is a market here, that there is there's actually an influx of sellers that want to sell their wares and can't sell them in their store. I wonder what that has to do with. It must be the pandemic, but they have done a lot better. I noticed though that they are on the antiques category, and for me, reuse isn't just about vintage. It isn't about antique and retro and all the other buzzwords. Sometimes it's just about having those construction surplus items, ordered too much, ordered the wrong size, customer changed their mind. What do you do with that extra material that construction workers and contractors aren't willing to return? Either they don't meet it in the deadline to make a return, or it's just not something that's worth their time to go around to all of the stores. These are options for them now. Creating a site on a marketplace like this, or on your own site where you can sell your extra surplus stuff. It's luckily becoming more and more common, and I'm grateful for that. Back to this eBay thing. Are the buyers looking there, or are they still going to eBay?
Stop it, Roscoe.
If that's a doggo, you better give them snuggles for me. Even if they're interrupting my meeting, I demand doggo snuggles. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you out. I can't see in the chat who you are, but we're on eBay. We're a buyer. Are we looking for barn doors? Are we looking for baseball cards? Regardless, we are online and we are shopping. Now that the pandemic is becoming a norm behind us, whatever your opinion is, brick and mortar stores are opening back up, but that doesn't mean that shoppers are leaving this new habit. Curbside pickup is going to stay, and e-commerce buying is only going to skyrocket. It is going up and up and up. This is my slide for the nerds, for the statistic nerds. If you keep a copy of my presentation, the last page is all of my reference materials, and I recommend you check out the article, Top 40 E-commerce Statistics of 2021. If you have heard, they say that 87% of statistics are a lie. I don't know. I liked the 40 I saw here, and I absolutely want to draw focus to the one in the bottom corner. It is estimated that 95% of all purchases will be made online by 2040. Obviously, the person saying that, or the organization saying that's kind of reputable. Maybe it's wrong, but if it's not, we are so behind. 2040 is going to be here before you know. As an 80s gal who has been getting those memes lately about how 2021 is just as close to 1980 as 1939 or whatever year it is. Too much to think about. Time is flying by, and we need to be ahead of the curve. And the e-commerce curve, it's the wave of the future. This is where buyers are. It's where we need to be. So again, back to the people who are thinking that this was just a way to get through the pandemic. It's not. This sentence is super important. Every entrepreneur, every business owner should see the internet as a source of growth. For you as a retailer, you're currently looking at a local audience, but we have the opportunity to go national, go global. Instead of selling something just to the people who can drive to you, you can now sell to people across the country. I've been talking to people on the East Coast. And the people who know me know my reference I'm about to bring up, the pedestal sink. I don't want to ever see another pedestal sink. I trip over them every day in every salvage store I go into. I have one I'd like to replace. Pedestal sinks are not popular in the Pacific Northwest, but I'm told they're extremely sought after in the East Coast. I would love to ship some pedestal sinks over there, and I'd love to know, what's my pedestal sink over here? What is it that my buyers here in the Northwest want to have that they don't have? And how can I help businesses ship it across state lines, across the country? We have the opportunity to make rescued, reclaimed, repurposed materials accessible nationwide at the touch of a button, 24/7, 365. No stores, no physical limitations to driving. It's all there. And if you are trying to figure out how to grow your business and it's been circled around being where the people are, if you don't have to be where the people are, then you don't have to pay the rent where people are. Talking about reduced costs and these services, these tools online that are going to allow you to not only broaden your audience, but broaden your communication with your audience. It's my last bullet point. You can ask them questions. You can engage with them faster, broader. You can track the data more quickly using charts, and you can figure out what your buyers want. You can figure out what the next item is that you can bring into your store. I want to touch on this for a little bit. There's a lot of talk about e-commerce and buying new things. And man, we know that all of the shipping areas and all the ports are trying to get all of this new material into the country because we have a demand. We want to buy it. Question is there a market for used stuff though? It's used stuff. Do people want other people's old things? Yeah, they do. I was supposed to fade in, but I like this too. This is very, very broad. This is across multiple verticals. We have clothing, we have comic books, we have technology, we have all of these items that are used that there's a market for. One thing that I also reference on my reference sheet is that there is such a market for this that Walmart is working with ThreadUp to sell used clothing in their stores. Walmart. That's so cool. And not only can you buy them there, but you can return them there. You can buy on ThreadUp and then return it at Walmart. Now, I don't know anybody that wants to stay in the customer service line at a Walmart. I couldn't tell you the last time I've been in there, but wow, what a difference in the way that people buy and sell, not only new, but used. That's all still valuable. So if you have any doubt, here you go. If you're wondering about specific niche markets, is there a marketplace for architectural salvage? You'd think there would be, right? My good friend Larry has been researching this for years. He's been talking to business owners. He's been going to this convention, and I can tell you with some pretty solid certainty that there is only one. And I would love to have the opportunity to tell you about them one day. But for now, I really just want to thank you for being here, for listening to me talk. And I want to open it up to questions and discussions. I think I hear somebody talking, but you're on mute.
Hi, Amber. My name is Caroline. Yes, I would like to ask you, I work on a project of opening a large reused building material center in Montreal, Canada, Quebec. And we're evaluating how much floor space we should keep for the merchandise, let's say the back store, and how much space we should leave for the retail space for people to go through the merchandise by themselves. With the e-commerce raising in popularity, do you think instead of making 75% of the floor space for customers and 25% for the back store, we should increase the space for the online sales and reduce the showing space for customers?
Well, can I ask, are you planning on selling everything on both platforms? Can I buy from you? Can I buy the same item both in person and on your online store?
That would be the plan.
Okay. Then really it's about, hopefully from the start, if you're lucky enough to start that early, it's about figuring out what your inventory intake looks like, how you can make it so that you can find all of the inventory and so that it can all be available for physical purchase. Save the stuff that, one of your employees has to say, oh, nope, this is sold. I need to put this somewhere. Mm-hmm. So depending on what your manpower is for getting that material out the door, getting it packaged and shipped, what the shipping provider has as far as turnaround time for when they can come pick it up. really it's just about the hold. So you have to get your hold for items that are being brought in, got to get them weighed, measured, get photographs, get it so that you can get it online, and then put it in the store, and then hopefully have maybe a point of sale software that'll allow you to quickly identify what's been sold so that you can set it aside and put it into that holding space for order fulfillment, for online order placement and shipping out. But I think that if you give yourself a little bit of space for both of those, take a look at what it takes, on the inside, on the inbound, how much room do I need to successfully process each item? Obviously photo studio, you don't need that on the back end, but on the front end, you need your photo space. But take a look at that. And I would recommend using that as your measurement for how much space you need to store it. If you're going to put a big push to online sales and you don't have a lot of manpower, then give yourself a little extra wiggle room in that whole space. But for me, as we've kind of set up a range of services that we offer. I know this isn't a sales pitch for Recapture It, but we are an online marketplace, and we are only successful if our sellers are. So we empower business owners to create their online presence in tandem with their retail store. And so if you don't have a point of sale software, what do you have that marks it? And so I've actually somewhere around here got stickers that we created that are just designed to go on the product. People who are shopping in stores are used to going by and seeing a sold tag. So just put the sold tag there. And if you can put it somewhere where, if you got somebody and that's their job is to process the order, then okay, I'm going to walk these aisles and find the sold tags. But sometimes they can be stored in place while they're waiting to go out the door.
But let's say we keep like the inventory online very sharp, so that let's say someone wants to buy a certain quantity online, we keep it aside and they make a deposit or they pay and they come to see the quality or how the merchandise is, in what state is the merchandise. And because I understand there's a challenge with the inventory to make sure it's still accurate. And do you think, like, if we would have almost like a Amazon system where it's more about shipping than coming to see the merchandise, it would work as well?
Well, it's all about how you frame it. That's where the marketing comes in. And that's where you need to work. If you're looking at Amazon, I would actually recommend looking at their warehouse section. If you look at a used item on Amazon, I can't see a picture of what I'm going to buy through the Amazon warehouse. I can tell you that I have a grading system where it says used just like new and it's a broken box, or used acceptable, used good. And they talk about what we recommend people talk about, which is there a scratch? If it's a window that came out of the building, there's an entirely possible there's a tool mark. Take a picture of it, mention it, mentioning the finish type. Is it painted? Is it unfinished? Is it sealed? Is it, what's the patina? Is there rust? Is it a patina? How do you spin it so that they don't have to come see it? Because that kind of has its own logistic challenges. If you have somebody that you have set the expectation that they don't have to buy it until they come see it, then you don't break away from your physical store. And that's okay if that's the thing that you're willing to do. But if you phrase it right, instead of just having one picture of the front of it, if you have a picture of all of the sides, if you have a picture of specific marks, if you mention it in the description that, this is this story, this is the history. Sometimes the damage, the patina, is actually part of the selling point. Like they ripped this thing out of a 1902 Victorian in the outskirts of Quebec. This thing has seen like the Yukon Gold Rush. You want it. And then the people that bring it into their Manhattan mansion are like, look, I'm rustic. So really all is about how you market it and how you.
Yeah, so you're right. It's about being transparent about the specificities of the items.
Yep.
So the question of having to see the merchandise doesn't come like a priority. Thanks for your information.
Absolutely. And if you want, let me know if you'd like to talk later. I've been doing this, like I said, since 2008. I started selling raw metals online. And I was like, guys, people don't know what the difference between copper and brass is. You need pictures of all of these items. So I'm a huge proponent of, an image is worth 1,000 words. So I'd love to see if I can help you. And I actually even put together a video where I beat up an item and then showed how to showcase it so that you can, and then you can also speak to how you can work around it. We just worked on a chicken coop here in my house where we put a reclaimed window in there. And if you look at the bottom edge, it's destroyed, but that's the edge that goes underneath the trim. So to kind of an untrained mind, you're like, but look, there's damage on the corner. There's not. Nobody's going to see that.
It's not going to show.
There's damage to an attachment point. No big deal. So educating your buyers, kind of walking them through the process so that they feel more comfortable. Not only is it great for them in that transaction, but it builds that trust. We know what we're doing. Our buyers don't necessarily yet. So let's show them how this is easy, how this is accessible to them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So I'm Becky and I own Heritage Timber. So
Hello.
We're out here in Montana. Hi there. We've been deconstructing buildings for 27 years and we have a retail lumber yard, but we're by appointment only. And so we primarily sell wood and antique metals. So that's kind of our niche. And we also we're lucky enough to have an antique mall where I have a booth there. We also sell on Craigslist and Facebook. And I've been wanting to start, Etsy right now, in my opinion, has been superior to eBay. I think they got ahead a few years ago for antique fixtures. So we'll sell lights and things like that. But I'm kind of trying to figure out, what's the next step. So I was wondering what you evaluate for determining which site to go with, because I think a lot of people who are in the retail industry, especially this one, I'm already maxed out, right? So I'm looking at choosing a site that I'm going to kind of put my energy in. And then I'm also looking at who will I bring in to do this for me? And what's an appropriate commission? Because the reality is I can't do it myself. And so I just wanted to see if you could touch on a few of those, some of the best venues that you've seen for reclaimed metal. And I'm talking a lot of industrial hardware because we take down lumber buildings and old barns. And then some of the models of who's selling that. So is that somebody who's my employee, or is that somebody I'm subcontracting for, a 60% commission, and kind of, and I have more questions, but we'll start with those two.
Yeah. Well, and again, if anybody wants to reach out to me, if you look at the lineup, you'll see that some of my other coworkers are here. And we do this all day. We talk to people all over the place. And I will tell you that the answer is yes. There is, you can do it however you want to. And there's somebody that's already done it that way. For me, what I'm basically kind of pitching myself, and I'm not going to do that here, but I am trying to create something that will compete with Etsy, that will be more specialized, and that will allow you as a seller to, promote your brand and bring people to you, but also to create a marketplace. I'm just a farmer's market, and I'm going to try to pick the right parking lot and do the right marketing to bring the right people in. And so if we can create a community specifically for architectural salvage, then we don't need Etsy. We don't need eBay. We are the Etsy. And the reason why, in my opinion, Etsy has done so well is because it's not a hard transition from the crafters to the DIYers, to the people who like that kind of urban chic, the people who want to do the window greenhouses in their backyard, those entrepreneurial housewife women that are like, yeah, I can build this and upcycle this and make a business, and then I can sell on Etsy too. So it's circular. So I would say that as you look at marketplaces, know that there's a lot of people that are on Etsy. There's a lot of people that have looked at trying to host their own e-commerce shop within their site. As far as employees go versus contracting, same thing. It's been done both ways. I talk to more and more business owners that have tried to hire inside. I talked to one guy, he's been doing this for quite a while, and he had a guy that came in, he was one of his biggest customers. He's like, what's your deal? You're buying a lot of things. What's your deal? Because you're not a contractor. He's like, oh no, I'm selling it online. And he hired him. And so now he's an employee and he's his e-commerce manager. And so I've actually worked with one of my sales guys. And we put together a couple of job descriptions. And if you want to be an e-commerce salesperson, person, you want to be a retailer, then you need to get your first wave of inventory up, and then you need that person to manage it. If you have a contractor, then you don't have to, you just have to, like I said, pay commission. So the work's off of you, but then you're losing 60% of your money. So for me, if I decided to become a retailer and I just needed to get that first work, then I'd probably hire somebody for the weekend. I just need somebody to put the item in front of the camera and help me get that going. And we have done that for a couple of our sellers, and it's actually been really rewarding. I have my own seller store on my website, me personally, so that I can empathize with what it takes to do that work. So I'm not asking somebody to do something that I wouldn't otherwise do. But I will tell you that when an order comes in, you got to stop. And as a one-woman shop, like, I have to take off my marketing director hat and I have to walk out and I have to process an order so that my customer doesn't have to wait a week for me to get off my butt and put a bulb in a box. So e-commerce manager employees, those are important. And if you want, I can send over the job description that I put together, just kind of highlighting what the daily tasks would be, what the goals are, what you might want them to bridge over into if they need to promote the listings on social media, those kind of things. So yeah, there's a lot of options and I'd love to talk with you about them. But for me, it is really about finding out what type of buyers you're looking for. And if you think that those architectural metal elements are going to interest people who want to hang them up as art, then Etsy's a great place for it. If you're thinking that somebody is going to want them in building, then finding out where the contractors are, where the interior designers are, where those people are. Go to them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Scarlett, I noticed that there's a lot of stuff in the chat. Do you feel like Larry got your questions answered? Anything else you want to?
Yes, actually, I have two questions. The first is, how do you pay for shipping when the shipping is often more than we would sell the item for in the store? How do you balance that out? And my second question is, how do you keep up with the inventory when things are also available to the public in person? Like, what's the best strategy of making sure that things are still available to the person online that sees the ad?
There's a lot of local retailers that have been fighting that and have been struggling to keep on top of the online sales and having to go market before somebody else swoops in person and buys it. That is like a known thing. And I would love to put you in touch with some of the people that have been doing it the best so you can talk with them about it. But it's manpower. And if it's not manpower, then it's recognizing that is a loss leader, or that's a hot item that is going to sell quickly in both places, and setting it aside. That's when you would look at possibly putting a space together to say, nope, I don't want to cause this possible conflict. So I'm going to make these online exclusives because they have that quick turnaround. And then just evaluating your items. Like I said, inventory intake is a big thing. So if you can look at this and go, all right, this is an item that I'm going to sell, I have 50 of them and I'm going to sell the 50 real quick. Then figuring out if you need to separate out for online and in person or not. A lot of times with the items that the shipping is more expensive than the item, the buyer's already going to have a pretty good idea about that. For us, with our items that are big and bulky, we don't have it as one transaction. We have it as two, and we have multiple shipping providers that when the buyer decides that I want to buy this massive mantle, okay, I've paid for it. Now I'm done. Now I'm going to go into the shipping and I'm going to see who these providers are and what their various options are and what the costs are. And I'm going to make a decision on that. But in theory, you have an item that is highly sought after, that is so sought after that the money doesn't matter. The money almost always does matter, but it doesn't always matter. And if it's an item that they are willing to pay for, then they're going to see pretty quickly that that's just the market price to get something shipped to wherever they're at. Or if it is a deal breaker, then you can coordinate other options. You can coordinate, making it local pickup. You can actually qualify it in your item. You can say, this is a 10,000 pound metal thing. It's going to be really expensive to ship. So if you want to pick it up locally, this is the kind of vehicle you're going to need. If you want to ship it across the country, this is going to have to go on a flatbed semi. Please plan accordingly. So does that help?
Okay,
kind of?
Thanks so much. Yeah, a little bit. Thanks a lot.
All right. Andre, I would love to put you in touch with Aaron. He's working on a number of different algorithms. One of the ones that we're excited to put a tool together. We're talking about the cost to keep an item on your sales floor, what each item is paying in rent to take up your warehouse space. It's hopefully designed to help business owners, figure out what the heck they need to get out of their store, what their turnaround is on items. Again, these are all things that point of sale software should allow you to do as well if you can get it into the system. But if not, then these, algorithms are really important. You can actually look at it individually and say, what's this going to cost? So yeah, if you could please help me, Leslie, to get Aaron and Andre in touch so that they can talk a little bit more. And Wendy, you better show me pictures of Josie's greenhouse. I think I see a greenhouse that we're going to talk about. I want to see pictures too. And yes, that tool will absolutely be available to the general public as soon as we can get it online. Pressure's on you, Aaron. We got to get it built out.
Yes, it's in work. I'm going to throw my email if folks are interested in something like that. I'll throw my email in the chat, and please do reach out to me, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, Aaron Boyson, everyone, is a gentleman that we were lucky enough to get on board with us here at Recapture It, and where I can talk about branding and photos and ways to describe items. He can talk to the math, he can talk to the numbers, and there are business owners that are very, very much metric motivated. They want to know what the costs associated are and the risks associated with being an online retailer, because there is no time. We've got a record year with home improvement sales, I guess I should say. Salvage sellers are knocking it out of the park with their brick and mortar, but even the ones that are too busy are still realizing though that they could reach a bigger audience and that they need to scale. And so what does that look like? So any of the tools that we are able to create, we want to put out to the public. We want to build out a way to amplify information about increasing the flow into new construction and new uses.
There's a big difference between my gear and your club.
Oh, really? How so? Is your stuff family?
I wonder who's listening to cartoons. I'm into it. I usually listen to music while I'm on Zoom calls. I like the cartoons in the background. That's better. All right, well, we have only a few more minutes, but like I said, I did upload my presentation, so you guys are welcome to take a look at that. I do definitely invite you to our site to see what we have as far as an architecturally salvaged specific marketplace. And I am absolutely happy to provide whatever information I have on others that are trying to do it. I'll tell you that there are a lot of businesses that have their own online presence, and they've invited other sellers to sell with them. But we're the only one out there right now that doesn't have a dog in the fight. We don't have our own inventory to push. We're just there to really change this. And that's all thanks to Larry really doing the research, a number of years ago, kind of talking about what's not out there. What can we do to change the world, to make it better? What's something that seems like a really valuable addition to the market that's not there yet. And it's there now. So love to show you around. All right, so I've been so nervous about this one. I haven't been looking at the schedule for the rest of the afternoon. I looked initially, but I haven't looked at it. So where are we all going to go? Where are we off to next? We're going to go hang out with Pam and Dave. Don't everybody talk at once. Oh, there you go. Well, like I said, I'm really stoked to listen to the rest of the presentations that happened today. I'd love to see what Chicago's up to. That if you haven't been to Chicago, that is such an amazing metropolitan area, and to watch what they're doing around reuse, it's going to be really exciting. I know we have a lot of connections here in Seattle that I get to go tap their brains, and yeah, So it'll be neat to see what they're up to, and then hear more about what Dave and Pam have in mind. I'm actually really excited to talk more about some of the people that are doing deconstruction of buildings and just hear how that's going. I know a lot of the people that I know that are on the deconstruction side aren't on the sales side. But again, with the brick and mortars closing, their ability to donate has changed. So what they're doing to find a way to get those materials out so that they can bring more materials in. There's a lot of things going on. Excited to talk more about how that's working out.
It's great to meet you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Rusty.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
You want to pitch Eco Building Bargains real quick before everybody gets off in 4 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in Springfield, Mass. We're a little bit outside of Hartford area in Western Massachusetts, and we have all kinds of stuff. We specialize in everything from doors to floors, is what we say. So we do all kinds of stuff, and we get a lot of local people that bring donations in. We have a crew that goes out, I think it was a 250 square mile radius that picks up from all over all the way up to Vermont and down to New York and all around. And yeah, I'm pretty new with the company, but it's been enjoying every moment of it. My job is virtual sales. So I work with customers virtually, and we, do different types of meetings and stuff. And I take them around the store and show them all the products we have, and basically just do a virtual shopping. They can shop right sitting on their couch, and I take them around the whole store, show them everything. So it's been super cool. Yeah. It's something. So we, I talked to people. I talked to a lady in like Nevada that wanted, because we have slate, the slate roofing. You can't get it in Nevada. So she was like, how much can you, we have 6 pallets of it or something. She's like, can you send me 6 pallets of slate roofing? And it's funny because she mentioned that question, like it's going to cost more to ship 6 pallets of slate roofing than it would be, the actual cost of the item. And she was a designer and wanted to make a bathroom out of it. But because being here in New England, we get a lot of really cool, unique items that you guys don't get out west.
Right.
So it's been super helpful to have that, for people. So
yeah, the buildings are older. There's things over there that we don't have here, and vice versa. And we're working on tools that will allow you to shop locally if you do have multiple options that are local and you don't want to have to pay for shipping across the country. But yeah, just knowing that, like, if I don't buy it over there, I'm not going to be able to buy it anywhere. There's value there. They don't care. Like, no, I want this.
Tons. And that's exactly what she was like, whatever, we'll figure it out. But obviously she had to work with her client, and if the client was willing to pay, for that. And all that. So that unfortunately didn't end up happening, but it was fun to work with her and go back and forth and try to make it happen, because she's a designer and just wanted to use that to design a bathroom. But obviously she has to factor in the cost for the client and her fees and all the stuff. So, but that was a fun one. But that's what I do. I talk to people all over the country and show them all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Aaron, was Bluestone? We got a guy that's pretty much all he does, and he ships it all over the country.
Yeah, I've been talking with, he's the self-proclaimed king of Bluestone. That he says is the coin, is the I don't know if you're familiar with that, but yeah, taken from near the Hudson River area, and is the foundation of our country. And he has projects all around. Like he's out of Rhode Island, but he's got a huge project on the San Juan Islands in Washington, and it's really amazing stuff.
It sounds awesome. Yeah, but I just did a whole thing, and people in Rhode Island too. But we reach all over New England, so it's that people like, hey, I need this window. Can you, show me this window? And I'm like, great. So we hop on a Zoom call, and I take them around. I show them all the nooks and crannies and everything that's going on with it. I tell them the history of the item, where it came from. So it's a really, really great service that we provide for people. So,
cool. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. That one of the neat things about e-commerce and being able to reach outside of your locality and your region is a lot of times how you price something is based on, okay, well, somebody who's going to walk into the store, and you get a sense of like, this is how much this is going to sell for. But when you get into e-commerce and you start getting this multi-region, countrywide reach, the pricing knowledge you have kind of all of a sudden completely changes, and willingness to pay totally changes. So you talk about, is somebody willing to pay for the shipping? Well, maybe not locally, but
it's a whole different clientele. It's a whole different clientele. Like I work with like artists and designers, and like all these people that walk into our door are like homeowners or rent or, you know, property owners that need like a kitchen cabinet set,
Yeah.
you know, for their rental property, or I need a window, just simple stuff. But then the specialty unique stuff, like slate roofing that you can't get in Las Vegas, like
Yep.
those things,
Yep.
like the price doesn't, you know, really matter a lot of times. Like I shipped it, we had a Shakespearean chandelier that was awesome. It was like $4,500 designer chandelier. This guy out in like St. Louis Obispo, like needed it for his ballroom. I swear to God, needed it for his ballroom.
Yeah.
So he's like, so we created it up and shipped it out to him. It was one of a kind chandelier for this. And he was showing me on our virtual call, he was showing me his ballroom and where he's going to put it. And we're measuring it. It was so cool. But like it was an awesome experience. But to be able to also too, it gives us as a company the ability to see what people are doing and see what the projects are doing. It gives us ideas for things that people are looking for and the things that we can start looking for. So it's it's been a great experience for sure.
Yeah, it's
For
really
both-
cool
for
when
both
you,
parties.
when you can change the, you know, just get the number of, it's all about matching the value you create with the person out there that's going to recognize it. And
Value's
when you
all
get
perceived.
1,000 or 10,000 eyes in front of what you got versus
Sure.
maybe 50 a day, totally changes the game.
Well, I mean, that chandelier was hanging in our showroom, and like, you know, our customer that's coming in here is not buying a $5,000 Shakespearean chandelier for their ballroom.
No.
You know, our local guys, you know what I mean? But some dude in like, you know, St. Louis Obispo, California that has a ballroom is definitely going to want that. So, you know, we'll crate it up and ship it right to you, no problem.
Oh, you have a ballroom there? Sure. Yeah, we got.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
It was a
I need this.
legit ballroom. It was
I'm looking
legit.
for
I
one of
mean,
these in my ballroom.
it was so insane. I couldn't believe it. Like when he said he had a ballroom, I was like, yeah, okay, buddy, whatever. You got a ballroom. We all got one. No, he had like a ballroom, and like it was a whole thing. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
It was
Well, let me
crazy.
know when I can subscribe to your YouTube channel or like chase you on Instagram.
Instagram. I'm all over Instagram. Eco Building Bargain. You should get on there. It's great stuff, and we post all of. Instagram has been a game changer for us. We have a great marketing team I work with doing virtual stuff, and Instagram. We just cracked 15,000 followers, and we you know, we're gaining steam every single day. We hired a guy that's nothing but me and him work with each other on Instagram. So. Please follow us on Instagram where you'll see my funny face all over there.
Nice. Yeah, it's the proof of concept. It's about showing them that, yes, this can go from being somebody's junk to something.
It's a
amazing.
transference of enthusiasm. I mean, you know, if you're excited about it, so people look at this thing, what you can do with all this stuff. Like people get excited about it and love it. So it's like, it's exactly what it is. But anyway, thanks guys.
Thank you guys.
Nice talking with you, Rusty.
Nice to
Towards the
talk to you
time,
too.
everybody can grab a coffee break and
See you
get
on
ready for the
Instagram.
next meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see you on Instagram.
Thanks, Amber. It was great.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.